So my social media journey started in middle school on AAM, which was like an instant messaging service. And you could post like statuses and pictures and songs that you were listening to and stuff like that. So I started on AIM in middle school. And then at the end of eighth grade, I got a Facebook. And that's an obvious social media. Everyone knows what Facebook is, and, what capabilities there are on Facebook for sharing and chatting with friends and that kind of thing. Then I got a Twitter freshman year of high school. And that was towards the beginning, and then Instagram probably towards the end of freshman year of high school. And then I got a Pinterest probably the beginning of my sophomore year of high school. And those are all the social media accounts that I have that I still use regularly to this day. And after that, there have been a few more social media accounts. Like Vine was a big one that I actually did use for a very long time. At first to create content and then to share content, but that's shut down now. There was Keek, which was like a live streaming video service. I had a Bumble for a few weeks, which is like a dating app, but none of them have been very long lived or like things that have stuck around in my personal social media like repertoire. And then two of the honeycombs that I like want to focus on for my social media journey are sharing and conversations. So sharing, my personal, like the way I share things online has changed a lot since I first got social media. So like on AIM, I would share like statuses of what I was doing, and I would update those all the time. And those were kind of a way to say like I'm with this person. So like if my friend and I went to the park, I would put up something like, oh, don't chat like at the park with like at Emily or whoever it was. And then I would also like when we were younger, we would put up songs to like let people know how we were feeling as our statuses. So like I remember like when I graduated, like seventh grade or something, I was like all sad because we were like moving on to eighth grade and like it was the last year of middle school and we were all like sentimental about it. So we put like sad songs as our AAM status. For Facebook, I would share my own original content a lot more when I first got Facebook. So like I would post on my friends' walls. I would post like pictures. Sharing other people's content wasn't really like a big thing that people did. And then on Twitter, I would tweet my own tweets. Like I would write the tweets myself and share them. And on Instagram, the way I share is basically the same. You take your own pictures and post them on Instagram, and that has stayed consistent. And then on Pinterest, it's always been reposting other people's things for sharing. And now I don't have an AIM anymore. I don't use it. And on Facebook, I really just repost other people's content, whether that's there's like Pure Michigan, which is like the Michigan Department of Tourism that will put out like pretty pictures of the state of Michigan, which is where I'm from. So I'll repost stuff like that. Or like a brand I like, stuff like that. Twitter, I just retweet other people's things, like other people's things. I don't think I've like written my own tweet in years. Instagram, I touched on, is basically the same. You create your own content and post it. And Pinterest has always been reposting other people's content. And then for conversations, on AIM, that was basically, besides the statuses, it was purely like a communicative tool. I don't use it anymore, but I used it back then. If I was home, I was always on it to talk to my friends, to be constantly connected to people. I used to, on Facebook, use the chat feature a lot more than I do now. You would, if you were acquaintances with someone, or even if like you just, I don't know, were kind of feeling silly, or I don't know, wanted to talk to your like close friends in a new way, people Facebook messaged a lot more. And now I basically use Facebook Messenger to keep in touch with like my relatives, especially while I'm abroad. Facebook messaging, like my aunts and uncles and grandparents, is really the biggest way. Like people I haven't seen in a while, maybe who don't have my number and want to get into contact with me. But it's much less prevalent. If I'm talking to someone or if I need to communicate with someone, I probably have their phone number and will just text them or call them. Twitter, conversations on Twitter, because I don't write my own tweets or like post any content that comes from me. I don't really engage in conversations on Twitter. I used to a lot more. When I first started using Twitter, it was common to like, because all of my friends were posting their own content too, I would reply to their tweets and then start a conversation that way. Twitter DMs were never really a thing, even though it is a capability on Twitter. And yeah, like I said before, now I don't reply to anyone's tweets. I just don't really involve myself in the conversation. Instagram, there are Instagram DMs. I personally don't really use DMs at all. If I want to communicate with someone, I probably have their number or have a connection to someone who has their number, and I'll just talk to them that way. But as far as conversations go, conversations can happen on comments under pictures, and that's always been the same. It's kind of interesting that Instagram is like the social media that has stayed the most consistent. And I wouldn't say it's a full-on conversation, but maybe a little back and forth in the comments, and I do engage in that. And then my first interest in joining social media when I was younger was probably like communicating with my friends more, having an online presence, just like, I think sometimes because everyone has social media, it's assumed that like you should have social media too, or like it's weird if you don't. And just like staying current with the trends with my friends, that kind of thing. And now that I'm in college, it's more just like keeping up with people that I don't see. A lot of my friends are scattered all over the state and the country, and right now the world, with everyone studying abroad. And keeping up with my family, posting updates, getting ideas. I know I use Pinterest a lot for like things that I need to cook, or Instagram a lot for like outfits that I would want to wear, stuff like that. So getting inspiration and keeping up with people, and less like keeping up with the Joneses, I guess.